Are you tired of self-doubt holding you back? Have you ever wished you could have the confidence to face your fears, go after your wildest dreams, and the tools necessary to live your best life? Hey there, amazing listeners. I'm your host and author of How to Grasp Confidence and Own Your Power, and I've made it my mission to help you break free from self-doubt and embrace confidence. Subscribe now and join us as we unlock the secrets to unshakable self-assurance. Let's dive in. In today's episode of Grasp Confidence, we're joined by Amayra Morales, a millennial woman whose inspiring journey turned personal adversity into a powerful mission. After burning out from over a decade in the corporate world, ouch, I understand that, Amayra's health hit rock bottom, leaving her searching for answers and solutions that traditional medicine couldn't provide. Her journey took her to India, where she discovered the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda. This life-changing experience not only helped her heal, but also ignited a passion for helping millennial women manage rosacea naturally and achieve glowing skin holistically, mind, body, and soul. Today, Amayra empowers women to see their kitchen as their pharmacy, sleep as their medicine, and movement as well-being. Mindfulness as a powerful tool, and self-care as a vital to their health and confidence. Join us as we uncover the Ayurvedic secrets that transformed her life and can transform yours too. Amayra, welcome to the show.
Hello, Tara. It's so lovely to be here. Finally, I know we booked this a while ago, so I've been really looking forward to this chat.
Absolutely. I like your journey. It's really interesting. So, I would like to know a couple things. I already have questions, but you have such an interesting background. When I first met you, I was like, okay, you're from Peru. You currently live in Peru, but you also have this amazing Australian accent, which I love, right? So you've clearly been a globe traveler, right? And you're going to Bali next month. You're hosting a retreat there. It's really interesting. But, we have something in common right off the bat that I read from the description, which is you got burnt out in the corporate world. You were feeling like probably you weren't living up to your purpose. You're stressed out, right? All of these things. So I would like to kind of go back a little bit before the Balis of the world, before all of these wonderful things happened in your life. Take us back to that corporate kind of time, because I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, so just to give you a bit of background, so I was born here in Peru, and then when terrorism broke out, my family and I migrated to Australia. So I was kind of the first generation to go to university in a foreign country. So there was a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure put on me to succeed. So once I finished high school, I went to uni, and then I didn't know what to do. So then I decided I'm just going to go to marketing and see what happens. So that's kind of when I started to enjoy, kind of like I got into the corporate world, like climbed my way through to a very high position. But I soon realized that I wasn't living life for me. I was living to appease my parents because they had very high expectations, as I mentioned. So every time I had a new job or a new role, I kind of got this sense of gratification from them. So I kind of wasn't living my life for me. And that became very clear when I landed in hospital and was staring at the ceiling of a hospital room, and nothing is more like kind of in your face than being in that situation. And I realized that I actually wasn't listening to the whispers of the universe because all of these kind of, the gut health issues, the amenorrhea, the candida, and all of that, I didn't listen to the whispers. So had I gone back a few steps, I probably wouldn't have ended up in hospital. But my career was taking off, but my health was declining. My finances were up, but my health was declining. My relationship was all the way down here. So everything I had going on was really based on finance and, kind of climbing the corporate ladder. So then I kind of left the hospital, and I had to go from specialist to specialist trying to find out like what was happening to me. And I just came back to the same thing. That was prescription medication. We don't know genetics, or your tests look okay. You know? So then I took a giant leap of faith, and I said, my time in the corporate world ends here. I'm going to go to India and sort it out. You know? I'm going to go and become a yoga teacher, which had been quite a big dream of mine for a while. And then once I finished my yoga teacher training, I got sick again, except this time it was different because I was in a foreign country. And through a series of fortunate events, I ended up at an Ayurveda clinic. And this doctor, in like 1 hour, analyzed everything that was going on with me. And he gave me, an analysis. And he's like, everybody in the Western world is looking at just this and just that, but I'm looking at a holistic point of view, you know? So your liver is probably related to anger and frustration, you know? So you're not sleeping well, the mind is going crazy, you know, your low body weight, the candida. So he was picking up on all these things, and it was just like, wow, and that's all this time and energy that I spent in Sydney trying to go from specialist to specialist. He kind of just gave it to me in 1 hour, no? And then I went on to do his detox program. I came out of there really inspired because I started to feel so much better just in 21 days. So after that, I went to study because I was really interested in gut health. For me, that's kind of like the root of all diseases in Ayurveda, no? And I just realized how out of balance I was, no? So then I went on to study Ayurveda, digestive health through the lens of Ayurveda. I kind of finished that, and then I became an accidental Ayurveda health coach. My intention was never to coach people. It was just because I was learning this beautiful medicine that was healing me. So then I started kind of posting stuff on my Facebook, and I had people reaching out to me saying like, oh my gosh, I can't sleep. I am this, I am that. So, and then a little bell kind of went off, and I was like, I can probably start like coaching people. So that's kind of how I ended up where I am today.
That's amazing. Wow. So you before weren't listening to your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there was some symptoms, right? So you talk about gut health, you talk about these different things.
Mm-hmm.
I had some symptoms that I was constantly ignoring, pushing under the cover, right? So some of my symptoms, obviously the obvious, are anxiety and depression, but then beyond that, it also started to get skin rashes, my hair was
Mm-hmm.
thinning and falling out. All
Mm-hmm.
sorts of different things were happening. And again, this was when I was in the corporate world before I quit. So my body was showing physical manifestations of like immense stress. And it wasn't just my job. Of course, there was diet and other things that, contributed to that. So, when you were going through your journey at this point in time and, you started to understand that your body was in one state and it needed to go in another for you to experience change, what are some of the things that you implemented at that time to make those reversals possible?
Do you know, it's so interesting because one of the things that my doctor in India said, like, we've overcomplicated health, no? So we want to take all the supplements, the creams, the lotions, the potions, no, just hoping it would all help, no? But everything in Ayurveda comes back to balance and really simplicity, no? For example, like one of the things that he got me to do was just like to sit like in the garden and meditate, no? Because the mind was going crazy, no? So when the monkey mind is activated, you need more grounding, no? So just sit on the grass and meditate or do breath work, no? And we want to simplify the diet. Now we've overcomplicated things with too many ingredients. No, let's just go back to really simple ingredients, no? Easy to digest, warm, nourishing food, no? And because in Ayurveda, my body type is a Vata type, I needed more grounding, more warmth, more nourishment, no? So I started implementing all these things.
Interesting. Wow. So, how do you know what body type you are?
Yeah,
Certain techniques. I can't imagine you and I need the same things. It's interesting.
exactly. So this is why, for me, like Ayurveda is like the golden child, no? Because it doesn't look at everybody exactly the same. I know some people come out and say, like, I'm sorry to say, ice baths are really healthy and great for everybody. Yeah, sure, they may be good for some people, but for other people, definitely not. No. So, so to find out your dosha, you just go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, or there's some dosha quizzes you can do online. So you fill it in, and it gives you an analysis of your dosha. No? So it might say that you are predominant pitta, which is the fire energy, the too much heating in the body. Or it might say you're kapha, which is the earth energy. So according to that, you see which one has elevated, and you bring it back into balance through lifestyle, through diet, through mindfulness practices, and movement. So what you require, Tara, may be very different to what I require. So this is why we need to be really careful when we start giving out information. Because it may be a medicine for me, but it may not be so much medicine for you. So everybody in Ayurveda is looked at from a different lens, and a practice is like the diet, the lifestyle is personalized specifically to you and your imbalances.
Wow. That is amazing. And I like that approach because we don't all need the same things. And that's why diets work for some people and don't work for others, right? It doesn't mean that diet's bad. It just means that we're all individually different. We all have different needs, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty powerful. So, you're going through this transition. You met with this practitioner. You got some clarity that you didn't have before. Was there some resistance in starting? Because, a lot of times, regardless of what it is, we have the information, we know what's best for us, but we still don't implement it. Or were you just like, nope, I'm ready for a change. Let's do this?
I think I was ready because I felt like in Sydney, I was just banging my head against the wall, going from specialist to specialist and not really getting an answer. Whereas this beautiful Indian doctor provided me in depth, just by doing a pulse analysis, a tongue reading. He looked at, my structure, asked a few questions, and he already had an analysis of I think you're not sleeping very well. Yeah. You're losing weight quite easily. So he started to pick up on these things that no other doctor that I have been to even question. I went, to a doctor, and they never asked me hey, what's your sleep like? What's your daily routine like? Do you have structure in your life? Do you feel grounded? Nothing like that. So for the first time, I had somebody tell me that, okay, you need more grounding. You need more nourishment. You need to do meditation. You need to work on your sleep. And so so he started giving me an outline of what I needed. So I started implementing it under his care, and I started to notice, where I started to feel so much better. My skin started to clear up. I started to digest food better. I was sleeping a lot better. I had more energy. So I was like, there is something in this medicine, and I need to find out a little bit more about it. How does he do the tongue analysis? How does he do the pulse reading? How does he do all these amazing things? So once I started to simplify things in my life, and it's not just about the digestion of food, we need to digest emotions and events, So I had to do a big detox in terms of setting boundaries, telling people no, which was very difficult for me, So yeah, there was some resistance in a way, but I was ready because just the 21 days made such a big difference. And I was like, wow, imagine how I'm going to be in 3 months, in 9 months, in 1 year, in 6 years, So that was really quite a motivator for me.
That setting of the boundaries. Ooh, I want to touch on that because it's hard for a lot of people, right? And, other people sometimes, a lot of the times, they don't understand. They take it as a personal offense, right? Why aren't you dot, 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 dot? And it's not easy. And I want to point this out because we're living in an age right now where we are more technologically connected than we have ever been before in human history. People have access to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and a lot of times feel entitled to your time, energy, space, and all of that. So, setting boundaries, I feel like, has become increasingly more complicated to navigate on a social level just because of this increase in connectivity. And again, people sometimes feel entitled to your time, energy, and resources. What was that like for you? Because I'm sure that was not easy. Did you have any issues as far as that goes?
Yeah, and I think the biggest one was with my parents, because I always lived kind of to appease them in a way, So pulling back and saying, yeah, no, I'm actually not coming back to Sydney. I'm going to India, and I don't know when I'm coming back, and I'm just taking a big leap of faith, But yeah, it was very difficult. I've kind of fine-tuned it now, and I tap into my body, and like with my new partner, for example, like setting boundaries in that way has been like very, very healing for me as well now, because there is setting boundaries in a healthy way and then setting boundaries like, the way you voice it as well, no? So coming from like a really peaceful, loving place can be very different to somebody who's like, setting orders and I'm not doing this, no? So for me, it was my parents, and also setting clients. I don't know how you feel, Tara, but even with clients, no. So I'm only available from 9 till 12, and then from 2 to 6, no. So they also know about it, no. But I know it's probably more difficult for women to set boundaries than it is for men. Men seem to master it a lot faster than we do for some reason now, because we're always there to, if you're a mum, you're with the kids and the husband, and if you've got a running a business, it's very exhausting for women.
It sure is. And, but when we don't set boundaries, it really leads to a lot of emotional distress, right? And
Mhm.
it can lead to, I feel like, this trapped energy sometimes where we
Mhm.
don't even know that it's in our bodies, right? And that's one part of it, but there's unresolved issues that again can kind of be trapped in our bodies. And how do you deal with all of this, right? It's not easy. And
Mhm.
again, there's just so much coming at us all the time that it- you know part of it too is we've never had this much inundation of
Yeah.
information and all of that stuff, right? To the point where we haven't even evolved to process all of this stuff. So it's totally understandable that, we can get burnt out. And that doesn't happen just in entrepreneurship. This happens in the corporate world as well, right?
Mhm.
Again, this inundated of information that we're constantly getting. Again, whether you're in corporate or an entrepreneur, you're almost working all of the time in some kind of a capacity. But setting those boundaries is so important because otherwise it does lead to burnout. I'm sure you experienced that too.
Yeah, I think what led me to burnout was definitely like not setting boundaries and also delegation. Like nobody else can do it like I can. So I'm just going to stay back till 11, 12 o'clock at night because nobody else seems to do it the way I do it, no? And then you're constantly like doing that every day, no? And then some weekends you would also be there just to catch up with whatever other stuff you didn't do because nobody else seems to do things the way I do it, no? So setting boundaries and delegation was a huge, huge work for me as well.
Wow. Well, it's so important for us all to learn, truly. And like I said, I had never heard of this practice until I met you. So this is something that I think I can't be alone with. I
Mhm.
would like for you to teach us a little bit about this. Because again, I think this is new for a lot of folks out there. They're wondering like, what is this? How do I start? How do I find more information on it? So could you give us a little bit of a background and a rundown of this practice and where it started and where it's maybe even going?
Yeah. And you're referring to Ayurveda, is that right?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, awesome. So I would summarize Ayurveda as like one of probably the most sophisticated health systems in the world because everything comes back to balance. No, so we're talking about a medicine that came from the roots have come from India. So we're talking about 5,000 years ago, and your audience may be doing some Ayurvedic things right now, like for example, tongue scraping, oil pulling. So those are Ayurvedic practices. So they've been around for a very, very long time. So the whole point of Ayurveda is really to create balance within the mind, body, and soul. And we do this, first of all, as you mentioned. No? So how do I find out what my dosha is? No? So first we go and find out which of the doshas is out of balance. So
First off,
we
what is the dosha?
yeah. So there are 5 elements within us and around us, no, in nature. So we're talking about air, we're talking about space, water, earth, and fire. No. So then they come down to make the 3 doshas. So the vata is the wind energy. So just to make it super simple. So it's space and air, but just call it the wind energy. And then fire is water and pitta is water and fire, and then kapha is water and earth. But just to make it super simple, vata is air, pitta is heat, and then kapha is earth. So when somebody has an elevated vata, it means that there's too much wind in their body. So we're talking about probably constipation, racing thoughts, not sleeping well, just going. So that person needs more grounding. So we do this through grounding foods. So think like beetroots and carrots, parsnips. We want warmth because they tend to be cold. So when we look at the energy of wind, wind is erratic. It's cold, it's rough, it's dry. So those qualities can be found within Vata people. So I am like Vata through and through. So if I don't ground myself, my mind can actually just go at a million miles an hour. So I need a lot of grounding. I need a lot of warmth because I tend to get cold. So people say, oh, I feel cold all the time. That's because their Vata dosha is a little bit elevated. And my skin feels dry. Okay. That's because you don't have enough moisture in the body. So you need to create that through oils. So for example, ghee and sesame seed oil is really good for Vatas. It's warm, it's nourishing. So that's a little bit about the Vata. So Vatas also tend to be straight up and down, quite thin structure. And then we have the Pitta. Pitta is the predominant dosha that I work with, which is the fire dosha. So when people are very balanced, they're go-getters, they have goals and they go after them, they're great communicators. But also the other side of it, when they're not in balance, means that they get angry really quickly. They have too much heat in the body, so too much frustration. Maybe they get burnt out really easily. They get stressed out. So they go to the other extreme. So with them, we need to cool the body down. So they tend to be drawn to like coffee and really like full workouts, spicy foods. So we need cooling. So think about coconut oil, coconut water, watermelon, cilantro. So we need to cool the body down. So doing cooling yoga as opposed to going and, running around a field for, an hour or so. And then the next dosha is the Kapha dosha, which is the earth energy. So we look at the consistency of earth, from superficially, it's probably dry, but deep down, it's quite damp, it's stagnant energy. So when a Kapha person is in balance, they can be very motherly energy. So they can be very grounded. But when they go too out of balance, it means stagnation. So they might have go to the same restaurant every Friday night, order the same food, stay in a relationship because, it's too difficult to meet somebody else. Maybe not much movement in the body, so they are very still. So we need to invigorate them. So we need that, that oomph in life. So we can do this through spices, through like cayenne pepper, ginger, garlic, turmeric. And then we need light foods because they tend to be on the heavier side. So think about quinoa, tofu, leafy green vegetables, and they need to kind of work themselves up to be more active. So those are the kind of three doshas. And we are all the three doshas just in varying amounts. So when I was in the corporate world, for example, my vata was out of balance. So I needed more grounding. So I needed to bring up my kapha energy. So more grounding foods, more grounding practices. So not so much like, I'm going to, ecstatic dance, and then I'm going to like do run around. So I just need more stillness.
I like that. Yeah, I was going to say, I could see me having a little bit of two of those, right? That I needed to personally work on probably. So it's interesting that you said that we can have a varying degree of those.
Yeah.
How do you know when it's in balance? Would you say the symptoms are more peace, less stress, less racing thoughts, better digestion? Anything else you could think of?
Yeah, like you're sleeping well. And people say like sometimes I sleep like 10 hours, but I still wake up and I'm tired, And then I get some people who say, I sleep 6 hours and I feel really great, So everybody is different, But the measure of good health is, we're waking up in the morning, we're feeling energized and ready for the day. We're having a bowel movement. We are, eating 3 meals a day without any digestive issues. We have consistent energy throughout the day and probably start getting tired around like 6, 7, PM mark. We're sleeping well, we feel very invigorated about life, So, and you can tell with some people as well, if they look tired, even though they might have slept for a long time. So it just really depends, But everything comes down to like good digestion, sleeping well, having energy. Those are three pillars of good health in Ayurveda.
I like that. How long did it take you to go from that state that you were in corporate where your health was all mismatched, right? To
Yeah.
then becoming that balanced state?
So the 21 days were kind of like what was set the foundations of what I was going to happen. I would say it was probably a good 9 months to 12 months until I started feeling a lot better. No? So, and one of the things that happened to me once I knew that, wow, I'm getting better, is my period came back. So I had amenorrhea for about 8 months. So when I went to my Western doctors and I said, hey, I'm not getting my period, they were like, oh, that's okay. It's no big issue. But when I addressed that with my Ayurvedic doctor, he was like, that is not good, because that is like, the body cleansing itself each month. So you're just accumulating toxins. So once I got my period back, I got really excited. And from then, like digestion improved so much better and I had more structure in my day. I was thinking a lot clearer. So I would say, yeah, 9 to 12 month mark.
Wow. That's powerful. It shows us that no matter where we are, we can improve and go to that other side, right? And
Mhm.
there is a light at the end of the tunnel for each of us. But
Yeah.
again, I think that's important. We don't all need the same things. It's really important to
Mhm.
go to somebody where you can get specialist opinion and personalized
Mhm.
guidance on this type of thing. So I love that. I'm sure everybody's going to be really curious about this. Where would be the best places to find you and find more information?
Yeah, so I'm a little old school. I'm hanging out more on Facebook, but I will be moving more to Instagram. But you can just look up Amayra Morales on Facebook and Instagram. Otherwise, you can jump onto my website, AmayraMorales.com. So I primarily help women with skin issues, so particular rosacea. That's kind of my jam. It's something that I feel very, very passionate about because I feel like women who have suffer rosacea are just going around in circles with the topicals and not realizing that, rosacea, the roots of it can be, stress. It can be too much toxins in the body. It can be due to gut dysbiosis and emotional. So I've been doing that for a while and I love it. So yeah, you can jump on my website, and if this, episode has resonated with you, come and say hi on socials.
I love that. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest on the show. Thank you for the topic. I love it. It's so empowering, right? To take your health back. And it's a good reminder that there's no better way to develop sustained confidence than to take care of yourself first, guys. So I love that. Thank you so much, Amayra, for being a fantastic guest on the show. And thank you for everyone who tuned into this episode of Grasp Confidence Podcast. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, share, and leave a review. I read each review personally and love every single one that comes in. And we thank you so much for your continued support. We will see you on the next episode. Take care.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Grasp Confidence. Thank you for joining me today and investing in yourself. Remember, building confidence is an ongoing journey, and each step you take brings you closer to the empowered, fearless version of yourself that you were born to be. Don't forget to visit my website, follow me on social media, and purchase my book, which is available on Amazon. Thank you for listening. We will see you on the next episode. Stay confident.